A dawn of death. A suspicious fire races through the packed Happyland social club in the Bronx, killing 87 people, the worst in New York in 79 years.
You don't forget. Something sticks with you like that.
Julio Gonzalez was a nobody. He led a pretty unremarkable life. He served 3 years in prison in Cuba for desertion in the 1970s. He then immigrated to the United States through refugee and then ended up in Florida. He then traveled to Wisconsin and Arkansas and then landed in New York. 6 weeks prior to the fire, he split up with his girlfriend then, Lydia Feliciano. Before that, Gonzalez lost his job in the factory in Queens. At the time of the fire, Gonzalez was behind 2 weeks on rent. According to the statements of the owner of the boarding house that Gonzalez was staying in, his statements was, from what I know, he was down on his luck.
Police think that Gonzalez went there this morning with a grudge. They think he didn't like the idea of a girlfriend working there. So he set fire to a coat room, possibly with gasoline. The club turned into a death trap because the flames blocked both exits and the club had no windows.
March 25th, 1990, 3 a.m. Julio Gonzalez enters Happyland social nightclub with the intentions of meeting up with his girlfriend to make amends. The bouncers noticed Julio's demeanor outside of the nightclub that night and the argument that he had with his girlfriend outside of the club, and then related the information to the news media later on that day. She had claimed that she had enough of him and wanted nothing else to do with him. At that point, Julio Gonzalez just started shouting, making all kinds of threats, and he said, "I'm going to shut this place down." After being tossed out for the argument outside of the nightclub, Julio Gonzalez then went to an Amical gas station, filled up a plastic bottle with $1 worth of gas, and proceeded to the entrance of the establishment and poured gasoline on the front step, which was the only exit to the establishment.
People killed with savage swiftness by a fire that raced through the illegal bar and dance club, cruelly named the Happyland Social Club, where 87 people died this morning in the Bronx.
Come on, my brother's dead! No! My brother's dead!
The heat and smoke apparently killed most of the people here. Bodies were literally piled throughout the two-story building, most of them on the upper level. It was a relatively small one-alarm blaze. The fire department arrived on the scene quickly, but it was already too late.
Our people arrived within 3 minutes of the alarm when the alarm was transmitted. They arrived, they had fire out of both doors in the front.
It was laid out roughly like this. A public staircase at the rear is where most patrons climbed up to the dance floor. A wall cut the room roughly in half. A bar ran along the right wall. In the front, near the DJ's booth, there was a second steep staircase, almost like a stepladder. That's probably how the DJ managed to get to the street through the flames. But the fire spread so fast, the rest of the people had no real chance for survival. The oxygen must have vanished in seconds.
I couldn't even begin to imagine the panic and the overwhelming, desperate attempts to escape this nightclub when there's only one entrance to get out, and all the trampling that was going on. The panic must have been so overwhelming. People died from asphyxiation, some from burns, and others just from being trampled.
Meantime, at the 48th precinct, police continue to search through the clothing and personal belongings of the victims in an effort to identify those who died. It is painstaking business, and few have been positively identified at this hour.
Most of the people were young and they were celebrating the carnival. Initially, the reports were stating that only 3 people had survived. And then later on, reports suggested that there were about 4 or 5. But the ones that we do know of are the DJ and also the owner's wife, which you are looking at here. The disc jockey suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns and was hospitalized with burns to 50% of his body.
As you can well imagine, this business of waiting to hear about the fate of loved ones feared dead in a fire is excruciatingly painful for frightened families. Families who fear the worst but continue to pray for the best. For word that maybe, somehow, that loved one might not be listed among the dead. But as the identification process continues, they wait outside the fire scene as the minutes pass like hours. Celeste Ford is standing by at PS 67, the command post, with the very latest on the ordeal of the relatives. Celeste?
Jay, it's simply a massive misery here as hundreds of people gather inside and outside this elementary school waiting to identify victims. So far, at least 52 have been named among the 87 loved ones lost. Around 8 o'clock this morning, rescue workers began the grim task of removing the bodies. One after another, they were carried out, a gut-wrenching sight. Because most of the victims died from smoke inhalation, authorities decided to rely on visual identifications. They photographed and tagged each body before sending it to the medical examiner's office. Those photos were then taken to the temporary command center at PS 67.
What we're trying to do is to expedite as quickly as possible the identification of the possible relatives.
An emotional crowd packed the front of the school. At one point, a woman was overcome by the stress and fainted. Finally, family members were allowed to go inside and view the photos, learning for themselves what happened. Heart-rending scenes followed as people grieved, some silently, others in emotional outbursts. This young man lost his father. Kelly Mena lost his only brother.
I can't take it. I can't take it. It's my only brother. Only brother. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Julio Gonzalez fled home, unaware of the murders he just committed. He removed his gas-soaked clothing and fell asleep. After investigating and speaking to Feliciana, who also survived, she explained to the police that there was an argument and he must have come back and started the fire. The next morning, they picked up Gonzalez and they read him his rights. And after reading him his rights in a statement, he admitted that he started the fire. On August 1991, Julio Gonzalez was found guilty of 87 counts of arson and 87 counts of murder. He was sentenced to 25 years for every single count. As of 2016, Julio Gonzalez died of a heart attack. Good riddance. May God have mercy on his soul. In a statement from the family, they said, hey, maybe he got what he deserved. I don't feel sorry for him.
To give you an idea of the heartache here, the Red Cross says one family lost 8 people, another lost 4. The Red Cross is providing counseling for family members, also other services, including money for those who can't afford a burial. Finally, we hope to have a list with all the victims' names on it by late tonight or tomorrow. We're live in the Bronx. I'm Celeste Ford, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me that great, but yeah, I'm just doing a vlog real quick about you know, the Happyland situation, what happened in 1990. This is pretty much the area where it happened at. You know, it was right across the street. If you see where the pharmacy at, that's where the building was at. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea. You know, I don't know if you can hear me that great, But yeah, this is pretty much where it all happened and the memorial site. So I just want to give you a better idea. Give them their respects. You can pretty much, you could read their names on the whole side. You know what I'm saying? The whole side. Did the anniversary. People came out. Back around this side. So basically, I'm going to show you the school also. I'll show you the names on the other side. I think I missed some of the names on that side. They got it locked in. Get those names there also. Can. So I can show you a little bit where the actual place is at. There's a key one here. Basically, that's where it was at right there, where the pharmacy is at. You know, they tore it down. They took down that whole entire spot there. And so basically they got the memorial here. And that's pretty much where it was at. See if I can get you guys a better shot. But yeah, that was the entrance where the pharmacy is at. I'll show you pictures later. You'll see this building here, right? I'm gonna show it here. So you get a good idea. But I'm gonna show you basically all the love that they put out here. You know? Yeah, so as you see, this is that was pretty much the area over there. You know, and that's where they had the memorial. But this over here, what I'm trying to show you, this is the school. They brought in all the bodies from that entrance there, and they took them to the back, you know, and they brought them upstairs to the school. This is the school here. They doing work on it, but basically this was the school where they pretty much brought all the bodies to, you know, for the family to view. So I'm gonna give you a shot of the actual address so you can see. And you had the Bronx or Crotona over here. So that's pretty much where they took the bodies at. And they put them in there. So yeah. You get a better look at the school. 87 bodies, you know? Memorial. That's the shop right there. As you see, it wasn't too far away from the actual location that they took them. It was into that school right there, the public school which they're doing work in. You know, they took all the bodies. You know? So there's a lot of people out here. It's changed a lot, as you see. But that was the location right there where the pharmacy is at. As you see, that's the memorial there. And it was literally right across the street.